Disclaimer, I'm American, so I'll be using US dollars for this video. Retro, our last game sold 2 copies because we decided to be like Noah and do absolutely no advertising. Well crap, what will we do then? We'll be out of business and I can no longer pay taxes for my black van. Wait, Dark Shadow, I have an idea. Loot boxes. Yes, it's perfect. Retro, why did you even consider this? We have money, but now we're so hated that Viacom, our only supporter, removed the game from Xbox One, PS4, Switch, and even frickin' Steam. Hey, at least I have enough money for the black van. I was gonna make a video called Why the Pokemon Fandom Sucks, but you wanna know something else that sucks? No, something straight up reprehensible. Microtransactions. Ever since the titans named EA and Activision rose up into scene in 2000 and something, microtransactions have been heavily popularized, and I am absolutely done with this anti-consumer bullcrap, so I'm going to explain what microtransactions and DLC are, then use 3 individual examples, then after that talk about one company and 3 of our games with an absolutely stupid use of microtransactions, and finally end off a video showing 2 games that actually do microtransactions and DLC right. And of course, all these sections will have timestamps in the description. So without further ado, let's find out why microtransactions and DLC suck. If you don't know what microtransactions and DLC are, then you have probably been living under a rock. And I honestly wish I was living there with you. Which is why I'm gonna get you out of that rock, because I'm Satan. But for those of you who need a recap, microtransactions are often used in free-to-play games to provide a revenue source for the developers. Another term, pay to win, is sometimes used to refer to games where buying items in-game can give a player an advantage over others, particularly if the items cannot be obtained by free means. So obviously the first definition is fine. Actually, I prefer it over the crappy mobile game developers sticking an ad up your butthole every time you get murdered in one of those crappy canon games. But the second definition, well, you heard me and now you know why I'm making this video. Because you shouldn't be charged extra for a $60 game with tax, that is bullshit. Okay, now I'm going to talk about DLC, which is something I'll be mentioning for a couple of games, but won't target as heavily as microtransactions. So DLC, according to some random source I found, is additional content released for a video game, is distributed through the internet by the game's official publisher. Downloadable content can be of several types ranging from aesthetic outfit changes to new extensive storylines, similar to an expansion pack. Now there's always 2 sides of the coins when it comes to DLC, which is why I would much rather defend DLC than microtransactions. But what I hate about DLC is the smaller changes that are still more expensive than $5. Like, why the hell do I have to pay $20 for a skin? The expansion packs are fine though, since they actually are worth the money you spent with the already $60 game. Okay, now that you know what microtransactions and DLC are, I'm now about to show you some examples of BS microtransactions and DLC, and finally end off the video talking about one individual company. Now, while I love Smash Bros, and I honestly will do anything to support Daddy Sakurai and the developers of the game, but what I'm not willing to do is pay $85 of DLC, not including bundles, and $75 of DLC with bundles. Now, since this is Sakurai's first game to incorporate DLC, I believe Sakurai just didn't know much about DLC, and it wasn't until much later when he realized how much money added up. And as sort of a shield, decided to add in bundles to slightly shorten the price. Or Sakurai's just a greedy pig. But since this dude did create my childhood, I'm gonna give him the benefit of a doubt by showing off some evidence that Sakurai was just clueless about DLC, and that evidence is Smash Ultimate's implementation of DLC, where you pretty much are paying for the same exact stuff for $50 to $60 less than you would have to in Smash 4, which shows that Sakurai has learned from the mistakes he has made in the past. Or he just couldn't receive the very little backlash he got from people like me who noticed the insane pricing of the game's DLC. We all love Activision, you know, the people who crap out annual releases of Call of Duty as well as other projects constantly. I mean, the dude's published games so much that you're probably asking yourself, why? Why can't you just take a break and realize COD's dead now? Which is the subject of this section, Call of Duty Battle Royale. Now, this game does have quite a lot of microtransactions, but the worst in my opinion is where you had to pay $2 for a scope. You know, the essential part of every shooter game. Now, you may not know what a scope is, since it's a more minor part of shooters, even if it is so essential. So a scope is pretty much a small pattern in the middle of the screen to help you shoot better in-game. And what's so cool about shooting games is that you can switch your scope to ensure you have a better chance of shooting John Wick's PP in Fortnite. But in Call of Duty Battle Royale, you had to pay $2 for a red dot scope, which is outrageous. Now, I could use the same argument I used for Smash 4 by saying the game is $60 and does not deserve to have extra paid content, but for this game, what I'm pissed off about more is that you had to pay $2 for something that is free in literally every game. The only defense I can realistically see is that the developers need more money to make better games, which is a horrible excuse, because bad games don't deserve to earn money, and second off, because this game is already $60, and for a broke piece of crap like me, that's a ton of money wasted. So in conclusion, this microtransaction may seem minuscule, but it's just so awful. So now for all the 12-year-olds out there, you may be wondering, Fortnite has a stupid use of microtransactions? Well, you may not believe it, but yes! According to this article from Forbes, every 100 V-Bucks is theoretically worth about 1 USD. So green skin costs about $8, while gold legendary skin costs about $20. That is a lot of money. Just free skins and you basically purchased a full price game. I thought Smash Bros. And The Sims 4 were bad, but this is not even funny. $20 for one skin? That's ridiculous. Now, the only defense you may be able to come up with for these crappy business practices is probably it's free, so Epic will need to get money from the players somehow. Well, that argument is terrible, because $20 for a skin is complete overkill to me. But Retro, buying these skins is optional. While I would agree with that claim, I have quite the rebuttal, which is what if a kid gets addicted or wants to show off? We're gonna buy nearly everything and be selling themselves out to a corporate piece of crap that only wants your money. So that's why Fortnite has an absolutely awful use of microtransactions, and why you should never give your precious green dollar sign to a company that only wants your money. While there is more examples of tons of different companies incorrectly using microtransactions and DLC that I want to talk about, but can't because I don't want this video to be super long, and because I don't want to be repeating the same points millions of times. So now we're going to talk about EA. If you have been living under a rock for pretty much all of the 2010s, you may need a recap of who EA is. But I'm assuming all of you already know who EA is, so I'll keep my recap brief. EA was a company founded in 1982, which was just like any other company, but ever since 2007, their games have significantly dropped in quality. And the main reason as to why the quality of their games has dropped is microtransactions, which is why I'm going to talk about three of their games that EA have ruined because of microtransactions. Okay, let's go. After I plug my phone charger, and some other stuff. I'm doing middle skits now. I hope this will be a more positive change, because when I record a longer video like this one, my throat starts to hurt. So with these middle skits, I'll be able to take a breath while showing you off the thumbnail art, and putting out a speed art video of it, so you can give me a reason to give me more watch time. Also, I'll show fan art when I actually start to get that. Okay, back to the good stuff, after I actually get another breather. Now, I am planning on making a separate video talking about the fate of Plants vs. Zombies, but since that video has not came out yet, I'm going to spend my time only talking about PvZ2. So before I rig on this game's microtransactions, I just want to say that I love this game. PopCap did a great job of the development, and all of the blame will be shifted towards the publishers, EA, because they are the ones who decided to ruin these great games. Okay, but microtransactions and PvZ2 are frickin' terrible. Why the hell does it cost $100+ to get every plant? You know, the main characters of a frickin' game? Okay, well, I do absolutely hate this way of using microtransactions. I can at least find one solid argument for these crappy business practices, and that is that the game is free. And while I do agree with that to an extent with gems and coins, it is absolutely not okay to expect players to pay $100 to get every plant. When a developer adds something like this into their game, it feels like the publishers are thinking of us like idiots who will accept any crap that's thrown in their face. I like the stupid use of microtransactions. I'm just thankful that not all mobile games are like this, and I will talk about one of those games after we go straight to hell 2 more times. Just like with PvZ2, I need to say that I really enjoy this game. Maxis did a great job developing this game, and this game is worth buying with or without DLC. Wait, there's one word there. DLC. which you had to pay over $500 of to get all of at least. With Smash 4, the DLC is something you know you'll be using for a couple of years. At least with Call of Duty Battle Royale, the microtransaction is cheap. At least with frickin' Fortnite, microtransactions are something you don't feel like you'll need to be good. At least with Plants vs. Zombies 2, okay, I'm not going that far to explain my point. So, what I just did there was justify why someone would buy these microtransactions and DLC. But for this game, I only have a couple of reasons. First off, I could see someone wanting the extra content, which is fine if the extra content wasn't already in the previous games. The most irritating example of this is the Pets DLC, which is a slightly inferior version of the Sims 3 Pets mechanic. But this time, it's charged for $40 with the game instead of being free with the game. There's so much more wrong with this DLC, but I'll cut it here since I don't want to repeat myself. So off to the deepest, darkest corner of hell we go. Loot boxes. Something I have yet to explain in this video. Something so evil and outrageous that some have even succeeded in some states to make it illegal. And the most outrageous example of loot boxes is Star Wars Battlefront 2. So you probably heard about loot boxes, and you probably also heard about the Star Wars Battlefront 2 fiasco so many times that you're tempted to skip this part of the video, which is why I'm going to try my hardest to be somewhat original. So if you didn't know, loot boxes are something you can buy in-game, or mostly with real-life money, and with loot boxes you can get a higher chance to earn something good the more you spend, but if you don't get what you want, even if it costed you $5 to $100 to get, you'll get no refund. So this is gambling. No, it's just in-game purchases, that's all. This is complete and utter bullshit. That is so wrong, it's comparable to gambling. And for the optimistic few of you out there, you may be saying, well, maybe I don't know how to pay for these items. Maybe I can just obtain these items by playing the game. Well, you'd be very disappointed to find out that you will be spending tons of time tediously grinding in a not even fun game to get these meaningless assets. But for once, people fought against these business practices. People, even casual gamers, did not let EA get away from its greed. And the public outcry was so extreme that Disney, the owners of Star Wars, made EA take away loot boxes and any other form of microtransactions away from the game for a temporary time. The public outcry was so big that people attempted, and even sometimes succeeded, to make loot boxes illegal in some states, because it can be considered a form of gambling. That public outcry was so big that putting loot boxes into your game can now be considered an automatic death sentence for your game, like with Animal Crossing Pocket Camp, which is an otherwise great game without them, and also Call of Duty. Let's not talk about that. While I have been very critical of microtransactions and DLC, I want to end off this video on a bit more of a positive note by quickly addressing two games that do microtransactions and DLC right. First of which being The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, which I'll call Breath for simplicity. Now I freaking love Breath, and it's a must-buy for pretty much anybody, even grandmas. But while the main game is great, there is DLC, and that's what I want to talk about. Because while I haven't played with the DLC yet, I've seen a good amount of information on it. In Breath's $20 DLC pack, you get an entirely new story, more items, and more stuff to do. It actually feels like an expansion rather than your typical $5 pack only filled with skins and emotes. Looking at you, Fallout 76 and Fortnite. Okay, I want to keep this video mostly positive, mostly negative though, so that's all I'll say, unless I for some reason make a video defending microtransactions. Okay, now we have our first mobile game in this video, but actually knows how to implement microtransactions. Mice and Monsters is just one of the many mobile games that's able to get microtransactions right by limiting its paid items to coins, gems, food, and keys. This, compared to most games, is not too much, and all of the microtransactions you can easily obtain without paying, unlike Star Wars Battlefront 2. If there was one issue I had with the microtransactions of this game, though, it would be that the keys are way too overpriced. With you only getting 5 keys when you pay $20. Like, you can't even get a full set of dipsters at that. Like, what the hell were you thinking, like, Big Blue Bubble? Microtransactions and DLC suck. They take away money from the game that you could have spent with the game, and today we have gone over the many crimes that microtransactions have committed. And my main goal of this video was to turn you against games with bad use of microtransactions and DLC, and for you to be able to spot good games with the use of microtransactions and DLC. And while I don't think my word will be enough, I think if you make your own video to help eliminate microtransactions from all full-priced games, then we may be able to get an even bigger outcry than what was accomplished with Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I sincerely hope that this video essay was able to achieve one of those things for you. And that's why microtransactions and DLC suck. Hello, it's everyone's favorite furry weeaboo here. And I've got a relatively minor update, which is that I'll be crediting the music that I use in the description for all my videos from now on. The ones that I'll be using will be the ones I'll be crediting are my intro song, Lavender Town Hauntin', and the two most frequently used songs on my videos, which are Zen Garden Remix and Me Channel Jeep's Remix. Also, I'm so sorry that this video took so long to make, because despite being one of the longest video essays yet, I have been procrastinating way too long for this video. And it's mainly because I spent about a week or two without doing the visual editing, because the visual editing is admittedly more boring and tedious than the script. So I'm very sorry about that, and now we can go on to my boring end card.